Welcome to the show today. This is the Jenkins Art Studio and I'm Kathwren Jenkins. Today we're going to paint a beautiful painting. Some of you have requested painting tulips, so this is what we're going to do, some beautiful, beautiful tulips today. Let's take a look at the painting I'm going to be working from. And this is a gorgeous tulip. There it is. It's called the painter's tulip or the paintbrush tulip. Some people refer to these as the Rembrandt tulip or the parrot tulip because it has those beautiful red streaks coming out of the middle, so it looks like somebody just took a paintbrush and just painted those red veins out the middle. And those grow in our garden, and I got the inspiration for these out of our garden by photographing them, going out with a close-up lens and photographing them. Let me show you some photographs. After we go out and take our photographs, these I just put up on a little board so you could see. This is what I shot several of these, but I came up with 3 of these I decided to use. This is the bud, and of course this one is a full open one, and this one's a partial open. So when you're using your photographs for reference, take from several different photographs, and sometimes you'll just get one painting using different parts from different photographs, and that's what I did on this particular one. These tulips were huge, absolutely huge. People would come over to my garden, they wouldn't even look real, and they would look at them growing. It was the first year I had them growing, and I was amazed. They were giant, and people would say, are those real, or did you just stick them in the ground? They're unbelievably beautiful. So if you get a chance to go to your nurseries or your greenhouse centers, try to look up these tulips. They're beautiful. So let's go up to the canvas, and I've got quite a bit started because I didn't know whether I would have time to finish it or not, and I wanted to get the flowers in because that was the main thing. It's not a background painting today, it's a flower painting, so I wanted to show you how to do those tulips. I just took a very, very large brush, a badger hair brush. This is about a 32, and I put white over the whole canvas in that nice crisscross, juicy strokes, using medium to thin the paint down, and using quite a bit of paint with white all on the whole canvas. First of all, excuse me, I'll backtrack a little bit. I had a drawing of the tulips first, and you'll have that drawing in the painting packet if you wish to pick up the painting packet. And then after you get your drawing on, then you paint the white on the whole canvas. And then I just took greens, yellows, a little bit of mauves, and crisscrossed that into the white. After I had the white on, be sure to have your paint very, very pastel colors, very, very soft. Don't have any bright, bright pinks or mauves or violets. You can have any color you want. It's your painting. It's your choice of backgrounds. And then I went in with a little bit smaller, probably a 18 or a 20 badger, and I took some green and sienna, and I cut in around the flower to get these real dark darks in here. And then after I get the darks in, I just took the green and sienna and crisscrossed it out lightly, soft, out into the background so it kind of just disappears. Come on over here. So you want nice soft edges. Then you can take your mop brush, this little mop, and just soften some of those brush strokes all the way around out into the background. But the thing about this painting is you want to have a lot of nice juicy strokes, brush strokes showing. You don't want to smooth everything out. It's real easy to take a blender and just smooth everything out, but you don't want to do that. You want some nice texture and some action going on in the background, so try not to blend everything out. And then after I got the background on, I went in with, this is yellow ochre, and I just filled in the petals, very loosely filled in the petals, and then took a little green and sienna, very, very pale green and sienna, not too much on the brush, and just shadowed a few areas. And I'm going to show you how I do that up here on that bud. So I'm going to dip down, get a little bit of medium. Well, I got some green on my brush. I'm going to rinse out my brush, get it nice and clean. Then I'm going to get a little medium and go into the ochre. Yellow ochre. Beautiful colors down here today. Yellows, oranges, reds, light kind of a lime green color. We'll be using most of those colors. Come on up here. And you don't need to be concerned with the drawing inside yet. I'm just going to go over that whole thing. Now base tones, remember, are very thin. Thin, what does that mean? That means a lot of medium, Not too much paint, mostly medium, very, very thin. And just kind of loosely go around your drawing. You don't have to follow it too carefully. Forget about all those petals inside. And then we're going to pick up some green and sienna, and I have it mixed up here. Sap green, burnt sienna. I'm going to come over here right into the ochre. Keep forgetting what color that is. I'm going to pick up a little more sienna, and I want just a little bit darker version of that base tone. Green and sienna into the ochre. And looking at my drawing, or if you're looking at your pattern, you can see where the shadows are in here. You see how that's placed in? Back here maybe a little bit. And this will give you that separation between the petals. Now I'm going to go in just a little darker, pick up a little more green and sienna, and we'll go in just a wee bit darker right in this area here. Get that nice and dark. See that? I'm putting this in very, very softly. Don't use a heavy hand when you do this. And you can even wipe off your brush, and you can just smear that out a little bit. And see, you can almost see 3 petals up there already. And of course, I've done the same thing down on these ones down here, just taken a little bit of that dark color and then softened it out. You can even take, once you put it in, you can take your blender and just soften it. You don't want lines in here. So many people, they put their shadow color in and they put it in hard lines. Remember, this is a shadow area, not lines, not dark, dark lines. Okay, I'm going to rinse off my brush and come down here and pick up some cad yellow medium, beautiful color. Maybe just a touch of medium and maybe a little bit of cad yellow light. And we'll start putting in these petals. We'll start highlighting. Let's start down here on this guy, right down here on the bottom. Now remember that push down and lift up stroke? Push down, lift up. That's what we're going to do all the way around this guy. And some places we'll pull the stroke in a little farther. The next petal, we'll put the highlight on again. Now when you run out of paint, I'm just dipping down for the same color, the 2 yellows that I've mixed together. And we'll come back up here. Now go out beyond the edge of your tracing or your drawing. And sometimes I use the edge of the brush like that. Or sometimes I'll use more of the flat of the brush. You see the difference in the stroke? You get a narrow stroke and a wide stroke. You want these guys to be very, very ragged. In the garden when they were growing, here's one that's flipped over. See, with that shadow we had underneath, and you put the highlight on top, it automatically gives you that flipped over petal. When these little guys were growing, I was amazed. When you photograph them, you can see how really, really ragged they are. And we'll be going in a little bit with our filbert brush to get even more of a ragged edge. And the next one, see how easy? You know, these are badger hair brushes, very soft badger hair, very important, and they do all the work for you. It is so simple. Remember to go out beyond the edge of that drawing. You don't want a hard edge. We'll bring that stroke in, we'll bring that yellow in just a little bit. And we have another flipped over one here. And once you get that in, now this is our middle value. Before we had our dark value, and this is our middle tone. You can take your blender, see that? And if you didn't come in quite far enough, just very lightly, this is a wonderful brush, like a makeup brush, and just soften. And let's go up to the next one. I'm going to pick up a little medium again. Usually I just pick up just a little medium on the corner of my brush. You don't want to saturate the whole brush. And let's start with this middle guy right here. Right here. Now see how I'm pressing and pulling and lifting away. Now on our technique tape, you're going to see a lot more of this stroke work. And I do some of the flowers on the technique, and you're going to see just how these strokes go in. It's really no mystery. Very simple. Nice ragged edges. Again, sometimes I'm using the edge of the brush, and sometimes the flat of the brush. Easy, easy. Now I know you can do this. You just have to practice. Gary and I teach workshops all over the United States, and we've seen over the 30 years we've been teaching a lot of you in the workshops, And some of you have been painting with us almost as long as we've been teaching, and some of you are brand new. We have a lot of new students every year. But some of you are getting so good, you send me photographs of what you're doing, and you're telling us that you're selling at shows, outdoor shows, and giving them away as gifts, your paintings. You know, nothing's better than someone coming over to your house and seeing these on your wall, these paintings that you do, and they look at them and they go, wow, did you paint that? And you go, yes, of course, no problem, it was easy. And everybody goes, wow, I can't believe that you're that good. So it is easy. Once you learn the basic techniques, learn a little bit about color and composition, it is so simple. Now we're going to get some of that neat color in the middle that makes it the painter's tulip or the paintbrush tulip, and that is that beautiful, beautiful red. We'll start out with the crimson and get a little bit of medium crimson, and we'll start out right here on this bottom one. Now we've got a yellow center that's going to be going in the middle here, so we'll stay away from that area, and we'll just, this is a little pointed sable round. We'll zigzag that color around. See that? I'm going to leave that opening there for our center. And then we'll start pulling some of these veins using the pointed edge of the brush. And these are just nice, ragged little veins, kind of an abstract pattern in here, really neat. I'm going to pick up some more paint and bring some out here. They come to a fine point. Now we'll get some brighter reds in here in a minute. I want to just scoot some of these darks in here first. And come on up to this one, we'll get some of this real dark color. This brush is a beautiful brush. Gives you real fine lines. Down on the bottom we've got some heavier color. And speaking of people sending us photographs, I do like to see your photographs, and we answer almost every letter that we can. I see every letter, and our secretary may answer some, but I read every single one of them. We have an email address now. It's on the end of the show website, and you can look us up on that. And here's some maybe over here. We'll put a nice wide area over here. Taper it off. Don't forget to taper these little veins off. And when you look at these growing in the garden, they do look like somebody was just out there with their paintbrush with their red on it. Okay, I'm going to go into a little bit wider brush now. How about a filbert? This is a brush. I'll hold it up here on the canvas. It's got rounded hairs. It's a badger also, and it has nice rounded hairs on it. And get a little bit of this bright red. Maybe we'll add a touch of orange to it. And we'll get some of this in here. Let's go right in this area. Wow, is that pretty? I love red, and especially reds and yellows. And you can just get some of that. I'll dip down and get some more of this paint. I guess you know by now that we've moved to Ashland, Oregon, which is beautiful. I can have all my roses, my Victorian garden that I couldn't have in Florida, although Florida was very pretty. You couldn't have so many roses there. It was very hard to grow roses. So we have lots and lots of roses, and Gary and I go out and photograph all the time. And we just have a great time there. We're in between two mountain ranges, and it's the home of the Shakespearean Festival. So we're getting culture. Besides painting, we're going to the theater all the time. Not all the time, we're on the road a lot teaching, but we do go quite a bit. See that? Just that beautiful, beautiful color. How about over here? I'm leaving some of the crimson show. I'm not going over all the crimson. This is why you have to paint from photographs so you see where this color is, maybe a little bit tucked away in here. And while we're at it, let's get the center in. I'm going to pick up a little ochre and sienna, and let's get that center blocked in. Just fill that in to get rid of that canvas. And then I'm going to take the little liner brush. I'll reach down and get some more paper towel. We always use paper towel in one hand and keep wiping the brush off quite often on that. I'll pick up some yellow and maybe some green, and we'll put a little bit of stamens in the center, very important. They were just kind of little dots. You'll have to look real close at your tulips and see what kind of centers they got in. That's the only one that shows. While we've got this little brush still, I'm going to take some green. I've mixed a little yellow with it. And I see that these tulips have a little bit of green right here. Oh, that's not going to show. Let's go in a little darker green. And up to this one, and we'll put just running along that vein, there we go. There was a little bit of a green color. These were just, I was so happy with the first year that I did these tulips, planted these tulips, because they turned out so beautiful. I know a lot of you are gardeners out there, and when you learn to paint, this is such a great way to incorporate your gardening in with your painting and your photographing, because as you know, I'm just crazy about photography. And we'll put a little bit up on the top. You have to know your subject matter that you're painting, so what better way than to grow your own flowers and to photograph. And we've got quite a bit of green around the bottom here. Okay, now we're going to get some leaves in, and then hopefully we'll be able to highlight those poppies with some more color, but we're going to get some leaves in first. So I'm going to switch brushes again, and this is back to the number 20. And let's get some green and sienna. Let's start with that. This is the 20 Badger brush. And we're going to start with some leaves way down here. We've got a little stem started here. Nice little stem. They have pretty wide stems, nice round stems. And we can put a little bit of highlight on those later. Maybe one up here, won't show too much. Let's stick a little highlight on those. A little green and yellow, or yellow and white. And we'll run a little highlight. There we go. And let's go back to that green and sienna and get some leaves in. We're going to start with the edge of the brush and just flatten it out, and then come and turn over an edge. You see that? There we go. And down the other side. Let's connect that. Sometimes they have these nice little points. Now I probably won't get time to get too many leaves in today, but I'll get as many as I can. And you can pretty much make up your own composition on these leaves. They're real simple. How about some down here on this side? There we go. And the leaves, they have mauve and yellow on them. Remember, foliage isn't just green. There's all different colors. How about way up here? Let's get one up here. Wiggle the brush a little bit, come down the other side. They're nice and wide. See how easy those are? Nice and wide. Some are darker, a little bit more sienna, and some might be lighter. And just wherever you think you need these leaves, you can put them in. Nice wide leaves. Maybe tip one over a little bit. And how about getting some on the other side? How about right up here? Up and back down. Up and back down. Simple, simple. And maybe some more down here. Tuck them into the stems. And let's get a bud up here. Just use the side of the brush and swing around. And we're going to get a nice little bud up here. Wash off the brush, get a little yellow, and just show a little bit of a color we'll have underneath the bud. A little crimson on the bottom. And let's take our smaller brush, our filbert again, and some green and sienna, green and yellow. I'll just bounce all over here and pick up some color. And come on in close. There we go. And we're going to just go up through the middle, press, and then taper off. And these buds are just they're quite round or quite oval. They don't have those real long calyxes on them like the roses. They're real long tendrils out the end. I'm just going to highlight a little bit right in the middle. There we go. And maybe some little thingies coming off. And let's get some twigs with a twiggy brush or some vines that are in the garden. In my garden, they're usually weeds. I don't know about your garden. I'm sure you don't have any weeds in your garden. But these act as filler that you can put in. Real tiny little tendrils. See that? There we go. We'll do some more of those. Those are fun. Don't press down on that brush heavy. If you just use the tip with very light pressure, come on up to the top. If you just use the tip of this brush with very, very light pressure. See, I use such light pressure, I skip spaces. I'm not even pressing, so go back and just run those in. And these are those little fun things that the flower fairies can sit on, or the butterflies. Now let's get in there and highlight those tulips. We've got some nice, beautiful white or bright highlights on the tulips, and those are important, and you can wait until the end, till the painting sets up a little bit, and then it's easier to get these on. So I'm going to get some of these on. Now I'm picking up yellow. This is the filbert brush, and white. And let's come up close. Let's come up right to this guy right there, and see, I'm just using the edge of the brush. Now this is where you can get those nice ragged edges. Almost look like somebody cut these edges with pinking shear. And not all over, maybe skip a few places. And how about up here? These were really, really ragged. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, art is the only way to run away without leaving home. Think about that. Art is the only way to run away without leaving home. What does that mean? The time goes so fast when you're painting. You can just go into another world. If you don't get a chance to travel or daydream or just get lost in your thoughts, when you're painting, you'll be surprised how all your troubles disappear. At least temporarily they do. It makes you feel better, because in your mind you're running away and you're thinking about all kinds of nice thoughts when you're painting. At least I hope you are. And you don't even have to leave home, and you can run away and take a vacation in your mind. And I need to do that quite often. Up here on this one, we'll get some nice white highlights. See how simple this is? Now you give this a try, because I know you're going to be able to do it. I just know it. And you're going to have so much fun when you become a creator of these beautiful things that God put on this earth. You are going to have so much fun. And up on this guy a little bit. Now you can leave some petals. Let's leave one of these petals not with any highlight. Let's go up on this top guy right here, and we'll hit a little bit to bring one petal in front of the other. And up here, Gary's going to be doing some landscapes for you on this series. I hope you don't miss any of this series. He's going to be painting vases. We did some paintings where we paint out over the matte photographs and then paint out over it. So let's stand back and see what we have. Because the old time clock says it's about time to finish. So I really hope I've inspired you to get your paints and brushes out and get started. And don't forget to condition your brushes too. You have to keep them real, real soft. Just like your hair, condition your brushes, keep it soft. So I'm really happy that you could join me, and don't miss any of the shows. And we'll be with you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.